Hey, deserving listeners, couples therapy, let's watch.
Our time on Earth is not long,
Boris, can we can we talk about me for a little bit? I want to talk about,
So we are getting to you, love. I'm just trying to explain where I am. Don't worry, it'll get to you. It'll get to you. You're not forgotten, I promise.
Okay, I am confused so far. This is the beginning of the next edited episode or session, and I am a little lost. I think we're coming in halfway through a conversation. But what we're shown is Boris is talking pretty animatedly about how frustrating it is that he has to do all these things in his house, but it seems much more existential than just the pragmatic annoyances of housework. He, I think, is expressing another angle about the ongoing suffering that he feels, that he attaches to the notion of, I am not in the right place, I don't belong, or I'm a monster, I'm not safe here, I'm unwanted, I'm not in the promised land. And it seems to manifest in some kind of confusing ways, honestly. He was talking about water softeners and that he would never own a house, I think he was saying. Maybe if I heard the whole rant of his, I would understand. But then we see Jessica will get a little uncomfortable and she says, can we talk about me? Yeah, I would imagine that if I were in her shoes, I'd get a little annoyed of, at the very least, that we're spending all this time just him ranting and venting, but also, why aren't we talking about our relationship? And also, she's probably heard him rant and rave in this way a lot. I get that feeling. And I'll stick with my main hypothesis. I don't know, obviously, but my main hypothesis is that he's generally suffering due to trauma growing up. He has talked about being in an unwanted family, the Jewish family in Soviet Union, and at least that's what I gleaned. And he feels like a monster. The dogs are barking. And he doesn't have a clear picture of why he is in a constant state of that feeling. And consciously is always looking for the promised land, the best home, the best town. But he never finds it because it doesn't exist. But the suffering still goes on. Deep, deep suffering. I think he is suffering greatly. Now, that's not Jessica's fault. And Jessica can't fix it, even though I think she's tried. So what do we do from there, And how do they work on their relationship? So I think that's what she's trying to divert the conversation towards. And then he gets frustrated and says, it'll come back to you. And I think he is so stunted emotionally. I don't know, it's speculation. But I think he is so, especially when he's triggered like this, I think he is so regressed that it is nearly impossible for him to divert away from himself. I'm guessing that people would label him a narcissist or something, which is basically a nonsensical term, at least on the internet at this point. I think it's just a stand-in for an asshole or someone that annoys people. And I wish that people would just use that term. That guy I'm watching on reality TV is an asshole. He annoys me. Instead of trying to use our language, which most therapists don't really even understand because it's too complicated. But he is pretty self-centered, and I think that is because of his suffering and his trauma, and when he's triggered, it's hard for him to focus on anything else. And the vibe I get from him is that he's a little boy that is screaming, please help me, please help me, please help me. Someone listen to me. Someone take care of me. Someone make me feel safe. But he doesn't know how to articulate how others can actually help him with that. And so it comes out in all these weird ways and in a fairly self-centered way.
You're on my mind all the time. This isn't just the Boris show. I'm just trying to explain. We will get to you.
So he's shutting it down, and it's just kind of weird, isn't it? The way in which even the way she brought it up was a little odd to me. Can we talk about me? I mean, and maybe that has something to do with what they were talking about earlier, but even that is fairly, I would hope that they both would want to talk about both and that they would want to talk about their relationship, But it's just kind of odd. And I've been in many couple and individual therapy sessions where I have felt that. And usually what I will land on eventually in terms of a conceptualization is that what I said earlier, that you have an inner child that is suffering greatly and is in basically a constant state of suffering. If you are one of those people who are in a constant state of suffering, like you're on the borderline spectrum or the narcissistic spectrum, or you have complex PTSD, you know what that feels like. It's like the best you can do is a 5 out of 10, meaning, 10 is like your head explodes with distress and 0 is you're totally chill. The best that some people can do is a 5. And when they're a 5, they might look like they're a 0 because that's the best they can do. And when they're a 5, there's no use signaling about it because they're always a 5. Whereas if you are more like someone who can achieve 0 or 1 every now and then, when you're a 5, you're going to signal more because it's different than when you're a 0, if that makes sense. Plus, eventually it becomes just easier to deny that you're in distress because then you don't have to acknowledge it, you don't have to do anything about it, and you don't have to bother other people. So my conceptualization of people who in therapy seem to be, if we don't listen to the exact words, like the content of what they're saying, and we focus on what's the emotion or what's the emotional state or what's the vibe that's being communicated, he is in distress. He's talking about house stuff, water filters and stuff, but that's probably not what's really going on, especially when you listen to his words and you're like, I don't even understand what he's saying. I certainly don't understand why that would eclipse her water filters and chores around the house. And just his demeanor, the way he's responding to her, shutting her down, it'll come back to you. And then it's interesting because he said, I always think about you, which is probably true. But he doesn't my hypothesis right from the beginning was that they have a dynamic that is mother and son. And yeah, children think about their parents, but not in a empathetic, peer-related way, right? They think about their parents as like, how do I please them? They don't need anything from me because they have everything figured out. So yeah, kids think about their parents all the time, but they don't care the way a husband should. You know what I mean? In terms of, I am your keeper. I am your, meaning brother's keeper. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But I am your protector. I am here for you. I will notice you. I am attuned to you. Sometimes your needs are going to eclipse mine, and I will pay attention to you. That's different than the way a child will look to a parent. And, if we imagine that he's a 7-year-old who is ranting and raving and the mom says, can we talk about me? We could imagine a 7-year-old going, I always think about you. And no, I don't want to talk. I want to talk about me. It's that kind of thing.
Promise.
So how does all of this play out between the two of you, and what is the ask?
So I'm radiating negativity, which is no fun to be around for Jessica. And
All right, so just taking a little break. The rest of this video will be for members of the YouTube channel. So if you want to see this full video, you can click the link below, the join button, or the link in the description to become a member of the channel. When you become a member, you are very much supporting and giving me literally the ability to do this. So if you're thinking about that and you like this channel, it would be really great if you could become a member. And otherwise, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.